Oh, all right. We are now live. And let me get this web browser up, guys. Just you should be good to go, Gina, if you just refresh that web browser.
Okay, I
There
think
we go.
I'm refreshed. Okay.
Cool. Now we can see chat. Don't worry, this is not my normal time going live. What's going on, Pac-Man? Welcome in, buddy. Welcome in. We already have 5 likes already. I'm loving it.
Cool. I was one of those. I liked it.
Oh, all right, guys. Well, I have a very, very special guest here, and I've known Radseller for a very long time now here on the reseller community on Instagram, and we've chatted on the phone a few times. Amazing reseller, guys. Super excited to have her on.
Thank you.
Yeah, You want to say hello to a few people in chat, Brad?
Yes. Let's see. There's Cindy Y. Howdy. Stephanie Threads. Hello. Sell quick, ship quick. Hey.
That's a really
There's
awesome
a lot of people here already.
Yes, and I didn't think we'd have a lot of people because I never go live at noon. I mean, everybody's out to lunch, so that's amazing. What's going on, Flippin' Daily? Did you see that video yet with Flippin' Daily?
I might have seen part of it. You know, I've been watching your interviews lately, but only like the first half, and then I get busy. I don't think I've seen the end of any of them yet.
Yeah, same here. Sir Thrifts. All right, guys, let's get into this. I have such an amazing guest. And Rad, go ahead and give us a little background on yourself and introduce yourself to the crowd here.
Okay, I'm Gina. Radseller is my name on YouTube and Instagram. I am 28 years old and I have 3 kids, and I just sell part-time. I actually work 48 hours a week as an x-ray tech at a hospital. That's my main thing. And then I just sell the rest of the time. Literally every other available second that I have.
It's amazing. Sometimes I'm like, how do you find time? You have, the 2 boys, and then you have 3 boys, sorry. And yes. Whoa. We forgot your pets. Can you give everybody your pets' names? Because I think one of them is amazing.
I have a cat named Remy, and he's like a big boy, big fat cat. And then I have a little tiny dog named Wi-Fi.
It was hilarious, guys. She sent me a Christmas card, which I thought was super sweet, and I felt bad because I didn't send one. We don't do Christmas cards, but we should. And this was kind of when Cade was small, so maybe we'll get into it now that we're having 2 boys. But she sent me a Christmas card, and then I don't know if I asked you what the name of the dog, or no, I think you had Wi-Fi on there.
I had it on there. People always think that's like the coolest name.
I think it's amazing.
I was watching, I was watching a story on the news, and it was like, come adopt these pets or something. And there was, I can't remember if they were dogs or cats, but there was 2, and one was named Mouse and one was named Wi-Fi. And I really liked that name, and we got a dog like a year later, and we named it Wi-Fi.
I may steal that from you, by the way.
Go ahead.
So, okay. X-ray tech. By the way, I had my first physical in like 11 years. I had my blood drawn, and it wasn't great. I can't stand those places, but it's it's tough. So you X-ray tech, and then you do eBay. What other platforms are you selling on?
I sell a little bit on Poshmark, and then I sell a little bit on Amazon FBA. That has varied a lot, where I was like really into it, and then sometimes I scale back a little bit. It takes a lot more capital than eBay, so I just right now I'm doing pretty well. So
that's amazing. So we're gonna take a couple scales back. I'm gonna kind of get a little personal here because everybody has seen your videos, and guys, throughout this video, I'm gonna link Radseller's information in the chat. So if you guys are not subscribed, please subscribe. She's like blowing things up recently. But I wanted to kind of ask you, yes, and you are quite honestly one of my favorite people to watch. I thought it was hilarious, your thumbnail, the image that you did of the unicorn on the last video. I think that was really cool. So okay,
they're like a dabbing unicorn. That's awesome.
Where did you get that, by the way?
I use this app called PixArt, and I know there's like a million photo editing apps, but that one has these little stickers that are made by users, so anyone can make them. So you can find some weird random stickers to add.
It's
I
crazy.
like
You
that
always
one.
and show of hands, guys, in chat, if you don't mind, because we have 40 people watching. How
Wow.
many people? Yes, yes, yes. How many people have Rad Seller added to their Instagram? I'm really curious. Type 1 in chat if you've got that, because she's got an amazing Instagram. And
Your Instagram blew up. It's huge now.
yes, it was funny, guys. Gosh, what was it? Maybe like about 5 months ago, maybe 4 months ago. I was like, Rad, please give me a shout out on Instagram. It was hilarious. She was
I
amazing.
did, and you know what? I don't shout enough people out. I just don't ever think of it. And you were like, "Hey, can you shout me out?" I was like, "Oh yeah, of course." I just don't ever think of it. I'm inconsiderate.
Oh man, it was it. But to show you guys how kind she is, she shouted me out, and I got a ton of followers. My phone blew up for a while. But all right, let's get into this. So we know you're part time. You're working full time. My next question is, what state do you live in for the folks that are watching?
I'm in Arizona, out in the desert.
How hot is it there right now?
Oh, it's actually nice today. It's super nice. Where's my phone? Let me see. It is. Let me see the weather.
I don't know if I could. How hot did it get last year, by the way, in Arizona? I mean, what was a couple of the peak days?
In the summer, 120, almost 120. It was like 119 or something at Sky Harbor Airport. There was a couple days that it was in the teens for like the whole day. It was crazy.
That is amazing. I couldn't 119. That's crazy.
I think it's like 70 degrees outside right now, though. It's super nice. So
yeah, that's nice. All right. So how did I'm going to kind of ask you this question because I think it helps, but where do you thrift in Arizona? Like, where's some good areas that you like thrifting in?
Well, I live like a couple hours outside of Phoenix, kind of like far out. Like everyone that lives out here says there's like nothing out here, but there's some Goodwills, which if I go to the sales and I have coupons and I shop smart, the Goodwills are okay, but they are a little bit expensive. But I do go to the bins. It's over an hour away in Phoenix, but I make a day of it and I'll go to the bins every once every month or two. I might go to the bins. And then like there's Savers, but I never even shop at Savers. Way too expensive. And there's a few like mom and pop thrift stores, and then I definitely like garage sales a lot.
So
and garage sales are almost year round. There's a lot in the winter, and then even in the summer, they'll start when it's still dark outside, but by like 8 or 9 o'clock, it's like already over 100 degrees and it's done with. But I mean, there's usually yard sales to go to every weekend all year. So
yeah, that's one good thing about the hotter climates. You know, it's when it rains out here, you're not getting any of that in Oregon.
Doesn't rain a ton out here.
Yeah. What is have you ever like took all the kids and and the whole family out thrifting onto the bins before?
No, not to the bins. I've gone with Alex, my significant other. We've gone together a couple times, and I've gone with like my brother a couple times. But I've never taken the kids to the bins. We've all gone as a family to Goodwill plenty of times, but not the bins.
I would almost pay to see that. It'd be fun.
I don't know.
So tell me a little bit about your family. Like, so you obviously have a mom and dad, and they live in Arizona too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a brother.
I'm pretty close with my mom and dad. I see them regularly. They're divorced, so it's separate. You know, I'll go to my dad's, I'll go to my mom's, and the kids love their grandparents. So I'm pretty close with my family. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters, and I see most of them pretty regularly. We all just went to my sister's wedding on Tuesday, like 2 days ago. So that was cool.
Yeah, I seen those pictures and it's like, did you get married? That's awesome.
We're planning to get married, but not yet.
Yes. When is your planning date to get married?
It's nothing set in stone yet, but we've been together almost 9 years and we have 3 kids and we never got married. And so we're thinking at the end of the year, maybe October. It's all like every time we talk about it, we change the plans completely. So Nothing's set in stone yet, but we were like, you know what? There's no more excuses. Let's do it this year. We put it off because when I was in school, it was just like financially, it was better. I know it sounds terrible. It was better to come off as a single mother to get more help getting through school and stuff like that. So we just waited. And now there's no more reason to wait.
That's awesome. And I think that obviously being together for that long without the pressure of being married is probably going to help too. Like, I think that's amazing. What does your family think of you selling on eBay? I'm really curious. Like, I say this every time, but like sometimes when you tell people you sell on eBay, they're like, what? Like, so what does your family think of you selling part-time on eBay?
They've all been really nice. My mom was super supportive from like day one when I kind of was like, I think I'm going to do this business selling stuff. She was like, come clear out my garage, take anything you want to sell it, sell this stuff for me. So I actually got started selling a ton of my mom's stuff, and we were going to split the profit. And then my dad is supportive too, but he actually, I didn't think twice about it when I was a teenager, but my dad went really hard into eBay for a few years, doing coins and currency, and was like a coin collector, trader, seller, and was like, the way I am with it now, I think back and remember, and I'm like, yeah, my dad was like obsessed with eBay for a few years. So he knew it. And when I told him, like, you know, I'm going to start this business, I think I'm going to be able to make a lot of money, and maybe I can even make as much as I make at my job. And he was like, yeah, we'll see. Like, and I definitely am not there yet. I don't make as much as I make at my job. So maybe he was right, but they've been supportive. They think it's cool.
I think that's so cool that your dad sold on eBay, and he kind of knows what you're going through a little bit, even though it's different products.
It was probably in the early 2000s, and it was only like coins and currency and stuff. He'd go to all the coin shops and coin shows and sell stuff. At the time, I wasn't even interested at all.
So you got kind of a family of entrepreneurs a little bit, huh?
My dad is definitely, I think that's where I get it from without even realizing that he's always been doing some sort of hustle. When I was younger, he did eBay. And then he also was always breeding exotic birds, breeding Dobermans. He was like doing chicken eggs and had like a roost of chickens and collecting their eggs. Like, he's always been doing some sort of hustle, and I didn't even realize it at the time.
We have some cool stuff in chat. I'm gonna let you read the last comment, Gina. You got that?
Wade, please tell Gina I love her hair. My color is natural gray, white, LOL. Thank you. Thank you. It must drive some people crazy that like young people are dyeing their hair gray.
I think you have. I'm gonna share a story with you guys towards the middle of the show here, but Gina found something at the Goodwill bins, and I can't give everything, but she found an amazing thing at the Goodwill bins. She may or may not know what I'm talking about, and then I thought about swooping up and wearing. Do you remember the?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, we'll keep it towards the end. I'll actually pull it up.
I think I know.
I'll pull it up on my phone. Let's say hello to some people. Since this is not a normal interview, we have a very seasoned seller on here. Let's see. So we have some few people in chat. Hit Flip and Mama's in here. Kim's in here. I want to say, guys, I truly appreciate you guys joining my live. I mean, we almost have 50 people in here, and it's really a blessing. I'm getting to know all you guys on a personal level, and I just want to say thank you. Stephanie's in here, and Martin, I appreciate you joining, buddy. Pac-Man's always in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into a little deeper this, because I've got some really interesting questions. But what I think this is a question I asked, and I think I already know the answer to it. But you found out how did you find out like that you could sell on eBay? Were you a buyer at first, or did you learn from your dad that eBay was even a thing?
No, I knew eBay was a thing because my dad sold on eBay, but then I kind of forgot about it. That was like 15 years ago, and I didn't think about it. And it just was random. I was in x-ray school for 4 years. And then when I got out, I was like so ready to work. I was working 2 jobs, like crazy hours, constantly working. And I quit one of my jobs because I was getting super burned out and I didn't like the company anymore. And then I was only working one job, which is like normal for a lot of people. And I felt like I just had all this time. I'm just like home half the week, time that I was never home before. And it was kind of like for like a week, it was nice. And then I was like, okay, what can I be doing with this time? And so I was just like a lot of people have done. I was on my phone, like how to make money from home and just Googling that. And I actually found Amazon FBA and I found a bunch of blogs and I got super obsessive and interested with Amazon FBA. I didn't care about eBay at all. And I remember looking for like a local group of sellers and I had a bunch of questions and I wanted to go to this local group to ask questions. And I had sent a message saying, you know, if I could go there to learn about Amazon FBA. And they're like, well, we mainly do eBay. And I was like, well, never mind. Like, I just didn't want to do eBay. But I found Amazon and thought it was like, oh, this is a foolproof way to make money from home. And I sent in my first shipment, and Amazon is a lot more waiting. So you send the stuff in, it takes like a week to get it. It could take a day or two to be received. Then it might be transferring from one fulfillment center to another. Finally, your stuff's available. Weeks, like someone buys something, weeks later, you get the money. So I sent the first shipment in and was like twiddling my thumbs and like, okay, well, maybe I'll just start selling stuff from around the house on eBay while I in between sending shipments in. And it totally just like flipped. And I loved eBay way more. So
and
it was my
that
first choice, really.
that brings me to my next question. Like, what platforms are you selling on right now?
I do eBay and Amazon and Poshmark. And my Poshmark closet is small. I think I have usually between 50 to 100 items for sale, depending on how much I list on there. And I haven't had like crazy sales. I sell one or two things a week on there, it seems like. And then Amazon, I try to send in shipments every week, but small, 20, 30 items.
I just put it in chat, guys, Resellers YouTube channel as well. So if you're watching live or you're watching after this is recorded, you guys can subscribe to her. And all right, so what are you passionate about selling? I love watching your videos. You're super positive. What are you passionate about selling? And I know you do a lot of clothes, but what do you enjoy?
Well, I mean, I enjoy doing clothes. I don't know, like passionate, but I'm passionate about like good items, I guess. The stuff that's not bread and butter. The bread and butter stuff is just like, eh. But when I find really cool clothing items, I do enjoy it a lot. It satisfies your need to go shop for clothes and buy cute things that you like. And but I mean, that's what I mainly sell is women's clothing. So I like it.
Pac-Man has a question for you. What % of your profit comes from each platform? So can you rank your, the high to low platforms?
I'm super bad with numbers. Poshmark is the lowest. I actually have my eBay store linked to Bonanza, and I get a sale on Bonanza like, I don't know, once a quarter, maybe like once every 3 months. So like Bonanza's the lowest, then Poshmark, then Amazon, then eBay. But sometimes Amazon has gone past eBay. Just depending, like fourth quarter, Christmas, you can't beat Amazon. Mm-hmm. But like now I'm doing more on eBay.
That's amazing. I would say eBay for me, Amazon, and then I started Poshmark, and I'm like obsessed with getting ambassador. I'm at 46%, and so that's all I like. I dream about getting ambassador on Poshmark, and I don't even sell anything on there. It's so weird. It's like addicted. They're smart to say you need to share 5,000 times. Like they know people are going to treat that as a video game,
Yeah. Well, you know what? I kind of gave up on Poshmark when I was like working really hard at it and wasn't really getting anywhere. I decided to take a few months off. And in that time, that's when they started where you could like list and share a lot easier from your desktop. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, well, let me get back and give it a second try. And it was so much easier listing and sharing from the computer that it brought me back in. And that's when they had changed like the suggested user to being like Posh Ambassador or something like that. And it actually gave you your stats and showed you exactly where you were. And so I hadn't been on for months, and I got on, and I was like 75% or something. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm almost there. Like, I might as well do this. Like, and I got back into it. It's so easy doing it from your computer compared to like doing it on your phone.
I got a little hack for you guys too. I forgot who told me. One of my viewers told me this, but so I was doing it on my phone, then my fingers started hurting. And then I was like, okay, I better not do that. So then he told me to do it on my desktop. I started doing it on the desktop, and that worked out really well. But one tip, it's so super basic, is to take your web browser on the right-hand side, zoom out so you can see more like per page, and it makes it easier to click.
Oh, like more per row?
Yep.
So you don't have to like share 4 and then scroll and then share. That's smart.
Yeah. And we have.
I guess I've wanted that without knowing that I wanted that.
Lisa, I'm still researching eBay, trying to learn more info. And it's only been on Posh for a month. It took me a while to get on Poshmark. The only reason I joined is because Chris 10K on the Bay started. And I was like, screw it. If he's going to start, I'm going to start. And so now I'm on Posh. It's funny. All right.
It starts to snowball. Like, it's really hard at first, and you're putting in a lot of effort up front because no one's following you. And once you start getting, I think I've got like 30,000 followers or something on there, it starts to snowball where like people are sharing your closet without you doing anything. Once you really build up a following, it's less work, but it's like a lot more work up front when your closet's brand new.
Lisa just got ambassador. Congratulations. Crush it. Crush it.
Congrats, Lisa.
All right, guys. So I'm going to ask some questions, and then towards the end, we're going to do a haul video. And before we do the haul video, if you guys have questions for Gina Radseller, please put it in chat, and I will ask her these questions. And make sure they're really tough questions, too. All right. So okay, I'll ask this. It's not on my sheet up here, and I keep looking up here because I've got questions. And by the way, I have not sent her this email, so this is completely blind. But what is your, the other day I was on your Instagram. Was it Instagram? Yeah, I think it was on your Instagram. And I saw the kids like running around in your inventory room. And how do you get work done?
You know, Alex helps me a lot, their dad. He's a stay-at-home dad. Kind of, we do this together. He helps me with eBay stuff here and there, but mainly he helps me a lot with giving me time. Like, you know, go list for a few hours. Me and the kids will go to the park or something like that. Like right now, he's with the baby at the park and told me, just let me know when your interview is done and I'll come out because the baby is like so loud. But I mean, it's usually a lot of times he's gonna watch TV, watch a movie with them downstairs. I'm gonna be upstairs in my office. I'm gonna be listing, and every 5 minutes, someone walks in and says, "Mommy, I need a hug." All right, okay, I'll give you a hug. Okay, now go back downstairs. Like, I mean, there's always, when you have kids, you're constantly interrupted. But that day, I just let it happen. I know exactly what you're talking about. I was listening to music, and they came in, and they started, like, dancing, and then I was like, all right, what song next? And then I'm just like, they're all just having a dance party, and I just wasn't even working anymore.
You seem like the cool... Oh, okay, I am on. Sorry. Last few times, guys, I mute my mic so I don't cough in it, and I forgot that. But you seem like the coolest mom. Seriously. Like,
I hope so. My kids probably don't think so.
Oh, they love you. We have a question from Navy.
Okay.
What is the biggest piece of advice for somebody just getting started on eBay? What do you wish you would have known then that you know now?
Oh, that's a hard question. There's a lot of things. You know, when I started on eBay, this probably seems like a really super simple one. I didn't include measurements. I didn't even know it was a thing. And I sold like hundreds of items with no measurements. That was a big thing. And then when I really, I sold, I think the best piece of advice, and everyone says this, is to sell stuff from around your house just to get your feet wet, and kind of get the hang of what you're doing. Don't go out and spend money before you've even like figured out how to use the website and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I also I didn't have an inventory system to start. which when you're just selling a few items, you don't really need it, but like it got out of control and I had like 300 items listed just in piles and it was terrible. And I had to like take a week to inventory everything. So I'd wish that I'd done it from the beginning.
I've got
But
one. I've got one tip, and let me know what you think, Rad. But um, and I said this in a few other videos. Like when you're first starting out on eBay, sometimes it's overwhelming because you look at things and you can kind of be like, okay, I'm going to sell this. I'm going to sell this. I'm going to sell this. I think that it's really smart to start with stuff you're passionate about before you had started on eBay. That way because typically items that you're passionate about, you already know a lot about. So the barrier to entry is really low. And then I do recommend when you first start on eBay to start with clothes. I know it's a lot more competitive market, but the biggest thing that I found, and I've got some stories, crazy stories, shipping stories when I first started, that I actually paid more money for the shipping than I did the product that I sold to customer. So I recommend starting with clothes because you can make mistakes on shipping and it's not nearly as bad as if you did like hard goods. But start with something you're passionate about.
I did. I lost money shipping something to Hawaii once where like I paid more for shipping than like I paid for the item and they paid me like it was crazy.
Oh my gosh, it's funny you bring that up. I told everybody the story of this. My first item I ever sold on eBay was a video game. I couldn't even tell you which video game, and I got the Goodwill bins. And I didn't know how to ship it. I didn't use like a printer from home. I actually went to the UPS store, not USPS, but UPS. They wanted like $16 to ship this thing. And I only sold it for $6. And I bought it for $1. So I was in negative. Oh, it's funny. Something about Hawaii. I don't get it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like its own zone or the fact that it has to cross over the ocean or something. But I had like, it wasn't a bird cage, but it was like a bird perch thing. And it was in this big long box. And you like set up this perch for a bird. And I should have thought because it was like for exotic birds or something. And then I sold it with free shipping to Hawaii. And it was a really long box that was flat, but it was super, like one of the dimensions was super long. So yeah, that was a disaster. But that was like when I was really, really new.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And guys, I would highly recommend if you screw up on shipping, eat it and ship it out. You learned your lesson, but you don't want to upset the buyers.
Yes, I agree. I recently did a shipping video on my channel where I really tried to be super detailed about like basically like starting with your item and then like figuring out all the different options to ship it. And so because it's almost like process of elimination. Okay, my item weighs this much and it's this size. Does it fit in first class? No. Okay, does it fit in this? No. Like just until you get a yes. Okay, and that's like that'll be the next cheapest option. I don't know.
We have a question, and I'll let you take care of that. It's Margaret has a question for you.
I have a full-time job and will be starting a new eBay. Oh man, I'm losing it. New eBay store soon. As a successful part-time eBay seller, how much time do you put in weekly? And to begin, how much do you put in now? Oh, that's a hard question. I'm so bad with numbers and keeping track of things. At first, I was like a crazy woman. It was every second of every day for the first like 6 months. I mean, and Alex wanted to kill me. Like, and he didn't want to hear another word about eBay. And it's like way more balanced now. It's a lot more balanced now. So, I mean, I think a couple hours a day at least, if not a day here and there where it's just the whole day. But I also work 40 hours a week, but my job is kind of cool that I have a lot of time to work on eBay at my job. So
do you get service in the building that you're working in?
The building that I work in, I use the Wi-Fi. It's actually way out. I work at like a rural hospital that's way out in the desert. And I can connect to their guest Wi-Fi for like patients and stuff. And when I'm on the guest Wi-Fi, I do the overnight third shift on the weekend. So it's like, it's not like I'm running around crazy doing x-rays. It's almost like I'm paid to be there in case someone happens to come in and need an x-ray. And it's hard to stay awake all night, especially like Fridays. I stay awake all day at home. And then in the evening, I go to work and then I stay awake all night at work. And doing something like listing on eBay helps me stay awake at work. So it's nice that like I can kill some time in the middle of the night when there's like sometimes there's literally nobody even checked in to the emergency room at all. There's no, it's like a ghost town. And so I'll just work on eBay all night.
Does any of your coworkers know you sell on eBay?
Yeah, a lot of my coworkers know about my YouTube channel. My boss has watched some of my videos, and I've actually like I actually don't like to do this, but I've consigned like a few items. I've had people at work come and be like, help me sell this. Like, so yeah, everyone at work is super supportive. So that's cool.
That's awesome. Do you, real quick question, and we'll go on to some more important ones, but when you walk outside your door, do you find like lizards and weird stuff?
Oh yeah, there's lizards all over the place. Yeah. You know what? It's funny. At work, it's way out in the desert. So during the summer, when monsoon season comes, these storms will just like roll across the desert like a wall of like rain and dust, and then these huge, like this big, desert toads will come out. And one of my like pastimes is like running around and catching them. I have so many selfies where I'm like holding a huge toad next to my face. So yeah, there's little critters are all over the place out here.
That's hilarious. I would when I was a kid, we lived in Big Bear, California, and I used to take like little gecko lizard things and try to make them my pets for a while, and then
they would die. Like,
yes.
That's what used to happen to me.
Or the parents would like try to save them, you know, and let them free.
Yeah. All right. I was always the frog girl. When I was little, I was obsessed with frogs, and like I didn't grow out of it. I'm like almost 30 and I still run around and catch frogs. I have a tattoo of Kermit the Frog.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I didn't know big toads were in hot climates like that.
It's crazy. The ones that are like, and I can't remember what they're called, but they're desert toads where they're basically underground hibernating like 75% of the year. They're like underground and you won't even see them. The monsoon comes for a couple months and they all emerge. When it's really wet and muggy, it gets super like humid. And you only see them for like 2 months and then you never see them. They're all underground.
That makes sense. So we have I want to kind of shout out a few people here. So we have Key Lime Kisses in the chat, and we have Flippin' Hustler. Welcome in. And guys, I appreciate you joining. I did get some feedback that those of you who are joining late, it's nice to have you reintroduce yourself because some of these people joined in late. Do you mind doing that real quick, Gina?
Oh yeah, I'm Gina. Resellers is my name on YouTube and Instagram. And I sell on eBay and Amazon part-time, and I'm full-time x-ray tech, and I'm a mom with 3 kids, and that sums me up, basically.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. So let's get into this. So 2018 goals. When you started 2018, goals did you have regarding reselling? Like, and it could be, you know, you wanted to just be more efficient, or what's your 2018 goals? Everybody has them.
One of my main goals for 2018 isn't exactly like about reselling, but it was more about my YouTube channel, which is all about eBay, basically. I really wanted to work hard on doing more content for my channel because I see everyone else's channels like every day, new videos every day, and I'm lucky if I do a new video like once a week. And it's become like, I've become super passionate about like editing my videos and putting together like fun, silly videos. And that wasn't even my intention when I first started my channel. It was more like, I want to get on there and talk about eBay to people. And the like making the video was like not the important part or the quality of the editing or whatever. And then I got really, really into that where it's like I spend way too long editing videos, but it's fun. And when you get that finished product and you're so proud of it, so one of my main goals was like work really hard on my YouTube channel, but I also had just goals of listing more and different changing up my sourcing methods and stuff like that. And of course, it's like it's March and I haven't exactly done that stuff.
So Jen's in chat. She's the last one that put something in the chat, and she says she gets nervous when she's doing YouTube videos and going on live. And I know that, you know, you're a little bit like that too. You don't do necessarily live, but you're doing amazing. And do you have any tips for Jen, you know, to kind of help with the nerves and just help, like, you know, expressing yourself online about reselling?
Yeah, I get very nervous. I was actually super nervous to do this with Wade today, and he like convinced me. And like before we started, I'm like, I'm sweating. I don't know we should do this. So I still get nervous about live, but as far as like if you went back and watched my first video, I'm like super uncomfortable talking to the camera, and just it's very unnatural. And I think that sometimes I've recorded videos where I never ended up uploading it, but just talking to the camera and doing that more and more, you get more comfortable to the point where like, and then when you actually start to get a couple subscribers that you've talked with, it's almost like you can pretend you're talking to them. You know that Jen always watches your videos. So while you're talking right now, you can just be talking to Jen. And so I think I've gotten at least a lot smoother talking in front of the camera. And I still get nervous. And it's like I'm sitting by myself in my house recording something that never even has to go on the internet if I don't want it to. And I'll still be nervous in front of the camera. So I'm not a great person to help with that.
I think that's really good pointers. Guys, can you put in chats, put a 1 in chat if you have decided in the future you want to start a YouTube channel, or you already have a YouTube channel. Just put 1 in the chat. I'm curious, out of the 60 of you guys, how many of you guys have thought about starting a YouTube channel, would like to start a YouTube channel, or already has a YouTube channel?
I get tons of questions of people like, how do you get started? And what should I do? And like, so many people want to get on here, but they just don't ever make that first video. And that's like, once you make the first one, you'll get going, you'll do it.
And I think that's really cool because, you know, there's so many awesome content creators out there, like Radseller and myself and everybody. There's so many people out there that will help you develop your YouTube and help you and help support you and give you shout outs. And that's the reason I kind of wanted to see out of the chat who was considering on doing a YouTube channel or who already had a YouTube channel.
A bunch of people.
Yeah. And honestly, like, you know, the common thought would typically be, you know, you don't want more resellers on there because it's more competition. And I think it's the opposite effect. I think that like positivity and helping people start YouTube channels and whatever their aspirations are will help kind of your own channel. So if you guys ever need anything, reach out to both of us and we can talk.
Shop For You Club just made a comment and said, when I first started doing them, I got criticism and took them down, and now I just wouldn't care, LOL. Yeah, you really have to start building like a thick skin, because I felt that way a few times. And then that's funny because I woke up this morning thinking about this interview and how I was nervous. And I woke up and I looked at my phone and I had the nastiest YouTube comment you've seen. And I was just like, wow, okay, that's boosting my confidence for this today. And the funny thing is just, I just kind of laughed about it. And a year ago, I would have been upset all day long, all day. And I would have been thinking, I'm not making videos anymore. And I really just laughed about it. And it was really nasty and really mean. So people will say things they would never dare say to you in person. Fake boogers. I laughed so hard. What a jerk. Yes, it had to do with my nose ring.
It guys, you're gonna remember and we'll get back on topic, back on reselling, but I think it's really, really good information here. But you're gonna realize when you start YouTube, exactly like she said, you're gonna have your core people. Like I've got my core people that watch me and they're diehards and they always join my live. I mean, we have 60 people here, and a lot of you guys have already seen my videos before. So that being said, I've got some comments too, and more so on YouTube than Instagram. And I can tell you
Yeah.
that you can't let it phase you, because at the end of the day, you eat with your family, you talk on YouTube with your friends, and you're just going to have that. So that being said, guys, if you ever need anything or are trying to start a YouTube channel, reach out to me and you can be on this live too, and that will help you. All right. So I've got a really deep question for you. How has reselling changed your life and your family's life?
It changed everything. I mean, it changed a lot. Um, Before I was reselling, it was to be honest, I was like in a rut a little bit. I had um been in school for a long time and I was so motivated about school. And it was like accomplishing each thing I had to do with school to get where I needed to be. And then I finished and I had like a 5-year plan. And that's like what kept me going. And then I like did it. And then I was kind of just like, what do I do now? And so I got 2 jobs and was working my butt off. And then it was just driving me into the ground. And I quit the one. And then I was just kind of like, I don't know, just in a rut. And I started doing this and I was so passionate about it. So passionate about it that I needed to find a balance, definitely. But it changed everything because at that point in time, Alex was working part-time and his job was really long commute and far away from home. And I felt like we were both constantly working, not seeing the kids as much as we wanted. And when I started selling on eBay, pretty quickly, I started making a decent enough income for Alex to stop commuting to that part-time job and just stay home and help me with the kids and help me with eBay. And so now that was about a year ago. I think on average, we spend way more time, like family time and time together and time at home than like a lot of families where like the two parents work, or even one works constantly and the other one's a stay-at-home mom. Like it's really like we're all here all the time. And then my 40-hour-a-week job, I was working 30 hours a week for a long time and I just bumped up to 40 recently, but I only work 3 nights a week. And I'm only gone like while the kids are asleep. They almost don't notice that I'm gone because they're sleeping. And it just seems like we're all here all the time. We do family stuff. We sit down for dinner together like every night. And the extra income from eBay like made that possible. And I really enjoy it. So like I'm doing something that I'm super fun, and the community too. Just kind of felt like a loner. I finished school, didn't keep in touch with anyone from school, didn't really have any friends. And when you have kids, you kind of lose a lot of your friends. And it's like I've got a million reseller friends now. I've got people to talk to all the time and who are interested in what I'm interested in. And it's just like been super uplifting. And I've connected with people, built relationships, like found something I'm passionate about that also makes money that lets my family spend more time together. Like I just love it. It changed everything for the better.
That's amazing. I think that's really cool. And you guys can work, but it doesn't feel like work necessarily because you guys both enjoy it. Do you both have the eBay app? Because I'm a big proponent of, if you have a spouse that's not necessarily into eBay or they're on the fence, download the eBay app on their phone so they can start seeing the money come in, or download the PayPal app on their phone so they can start seeing the money come in. But do you guys both have the eBay app? Like, do you both do customer service?
No, I do the customer service stuff. And well, we try in the past year since he started staying home, we tried different things, and he's not nothing like against him or anything, but he doesn't have like the eBay bug. And some people don't. Some people don't. They just aren't interested. He likes that we make money and he totally supports that I love doing it. And he'll help me with certain things like shipping, putting inventory away, measure, I'll say, hey, can you measure that stack of clothes because I'm really busy or whatever. But he's not like obsessive with eBay. And he had the app on his phone for a while. And I think I told him to like download eBay and PayPal, and you get like 3 different notifications. And he was just like, it was too much. Because like sometimes I would accept an offer and you get a message that something sold. But then later you get a message that something was paid for, and he'd be like, I don't even know what's going on. So I don't think he wanted all the notifications anymore. But I always tell him. Then I'm the one that gets to tell him, like, oh my God, that thing I was all excited about? Well, I sold it for this much. Like, so he finds out either way.
So we have a good question from Margaret. She goes, after paying monthly dues and shipping costs, etc., what do you do with your profit? What percentage of that it puts back, or that you put back into your company, and what percentage do you pay yourself? And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you get a lot of really affordable items because you go to the Goodwill bins and you pay per pound. So I've got 2 questions for you. How expensive is the Goodwill bins there where you're at? And then also, if you can answer that question from Margaret.
The bins is $1.29 a pound. So depending on where you go, there's some really cheap thrift stores I can go to where like you can get jeans for $1. If you go to the bins, a pair of jeans is going to cost more than $1. It's going to cost like $1.50. So it's not always the cheapest for me, but like for really lightweight clothes, you can't beat it. I don't like paying a lot for thrifted things. Sometimes I will for like shoes and stuff like that, but I have really low cost sourcing. And I'm so bad with numbers. That's the one thing I was nervous about doing this interview, is like I'm so bad at keeping track of numbers. I remember when I first started selling, I was super confused about like cutting myself a paycheck, kind of like how much exactly and how often and what percentage. And I kind of let go of that, and I'm more casual. Like if I need money from like my eBay profits, I just take it. I work at my job full time, so I get paid every 2 weeks, but the in between weeks, I usually pay for groceries out of eBay. And it's not like a certain percentage, or I take or whatever. I profit. I would say my profit is, I don't even know. I don't know the numbers or percentages. I'm so bad. I just know that most of the time I paid $1 for that. So if it's sold for however much, then we're good. Like
you can cost average too. Like if you buy,
that's what I do a lot.
Yeah. That's smart for taxes. Like just like if you buy like 500 items, and your average cost is like, one item could be 60 cents, but one item can be $1, and it kind of varies within that, small mark. You can just cost average. And that's what I do too on some items, because it just makes it easier, especially if you're paying per pound. How much is your, do you know your bins prices?
$1.29.
That's really good. And
yeah.
And ours is, you have to get over 25 pounds or it's like $2 and something. Is that like it for you, or can you just buy whatever amount you want?
I've heard that from people before, but I don't think they do that in the Phoenix one. Or if they do, I don't know about it. But yeah, I don't think so.
All right. So this is a really good question. And the reason I asked this is a lot of people know you, but some people may not have seen your channel, your YouTube channel, or your Instagram. So the reason I asked this is it kind of lets other resellers get discovered. Can you name off like 4 or 5 resellers that you love watching or that you've learned from? And then kind of give like a few favorites that you like.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Let me look at my phone. I do watch 10K on the Bay. He's really good. And I watch you, and I watch Lindy Glenn, and I watch Rockstar Flipper, Texas Gal Treasures. She does a lot of good like jewelry videos. I don't sell jewelry, but I still find it fascinating for some reason. The person that like got me started, that I watched hours and hours and hours and was like obsessed, and like the first person I found on YouTube was Rake and Profit. So he doesn't do a lot of like those eBay videos. Like at the time, like a year and a half ago, He was doing a lot of eBay stuff still, which he doesn't do as much now, but he had a lot of eBay videos. The Thrift Shop Hustler, he does a lot of like know your stuff videos. Those are good. Hustler Hacks, I actually got to meet him last summer. He's really cool. He does a lot of good videos like Ross finds. You do, Ross, so you know.
Yeah, he's in my territory a lot, Gina.
Oh, really?
We're it's funny. Like sometimes I'll partake in a few blackjack and poker over by where he lives in McMinnville, which is basically it's like 35 minutes away from me. So I met him in person a few weeks ago. Really amazing guy. Same guy, both on video and in person. So.
Oh yeah, he was so nice. Me and Alex went to like his Phoenix meetup, and I actually have like a little lanyard on my keys that says "Go out and get it" that I've had on there for like a year when I met him.
And I like Lindy Glenn too. I think she does these Monday shows, and I've talked to her. She's amazing, really cool lady, and she does the money motivation. I think that's really cool. Everybody has their own unique stuff. I mean, so it's just really awesome, and that's why I asked that question. I like to see if other people, because there's no real good place to find just a ton of resellers that you can like, watch.
Lindy is great because I have all this like nerves and anxiety about going on live, and every day she's just like, hey guys, I just got 20 minutes real quick, and like she's so casual about it. I love it. I wish I could be like that.
Yeah. Yes. She's a natural. There's definitely naturals, but the funny thing is if you're not necessarily natural to start with, you get used to going live. And my first live was with Chris, and you can imagine, like, I made 6 videos and then I go live with Chris, with 150 people watching. I mean, my nerves were like, oh my gosh. And it was about storage units. It was completely different, but yeah, that's really awesome. So, all right. So what I want to do is ask you one more question. And before I ask this question, let's give a few other people a shout out, because I like to interact with our viewers here. We have Gina Flips for Trips. You were just on yesterday. You guys should go check out that YouTube video. I do have a question. It says, what are in the boxes in the back? And these are IKEA bins, and I like them because you can see through them. So if you see that one up there that's like not necessarily full, I used to have bins where you couldn't see, and it was tough for me to be like, okay, I can put more merchandise in there. But now that they're clear, I can kind of see which ones are full and which ones aren't. But if you guys want an amazing way that you can store your items, I think, Gina, you did a video on that, your inventory system, right?
Yeah, I have a couple videos.
Because I binge watched one of them, and you have a pretty good pretty good. How much are the IKEA? They were $4.50, and then you got to pay 50 cents for the lid. So basically $5 is all they are. Yep.
The lids are separate.
I know. I knew I'd get a response. Yeah, I'm like, come on, guys. And yeah, but I can order it on. If you don't have an IKEA near you, just buy it and then have it shipped to your house. Let's see. All right,
we have clear bins from Walmart.
There you go. I don't have a Walmart. Well, I guess I have a Walmart like 25 minutes from me, but let's see. All right, so we have a question, or is this a comment? Let's see. I'll let you read that last one, Gina.
Gina, thank you. I started with her support, but like Wade said, as she heard she jumped on board. Thanks to her, we are on fire. Awesome. Sell quick, yes. Ship quick.
See, that's my game plan, guys, is here's the trick, right? I have amazing people that know their stuff on here, whether they're YouTube or Insta famous, or they are famous. And then I just let them do all the talking. I just sit here and ask them questions. So I don't do any of the work. All right, so let's get into this last question. Then we're going to do our haul video, guys. So do you have any tips, tricks, or hacks about reselling that you can give? Maybe one or two of just ways that it makes your life easier when you resell.
I guess I know I said this already, but the thing that has like made it way easier for me is the inventory system, because I have to ship every single day. and making that thing that I have to do every day, no matter what, as easy as possible, is super helpful. So with it, there's a lot more work up front of like when you're listing your item, making sure that like you're putting it in the right spot in your inventory, and somehow you're putting that in the listing so that when it sells, it's like boom, it's super easy to find. And like, so having a very organized inventory system, so when it's time to ship, it takes you like no time. I think that is like the best tip I can give you, because that's something that you're going to end up eventually as you grow doing every single day, shipping, and you don't want it to be this thing that takes hours every day. Oh, you're muted. Oh,
Muted?
Bill.
Oh,
There you
I'm
are.
not muted anymore. Okay, cool. So you guys, I make mistakes live all the time. All right. So I'll give one tip for somebody that's new. There's a couple tips, but I wish when I started, I would have just bought a Rollo or Dyno printer from the start. The first few months that I was actually shipping stuff, once you realize that eBay is something you want to do, you get past that stage, because you just, as an analogy, you know that, let's say a new person starts at your work, right? And I'm in sales. And a lot of times, like, it takes 3 months or 2 months to find out if they really like the job, right? And then once they get past that awkward stage, then they know they like it and they'll continue. Same thing with eBay. Like, once you get past the stage, I would recommend getting a printer right away, because there's been so many times I didn't have the printer. And those USPS labels that you can just write on? I'd write on it, wait in line. Like, I spent so much time waiting in line to ship my items. And I really wish I would have just bought a printer right away. Now, obviously, it depends on if you have the funds or not. But that's something I would have done from the start to help me like be way more efficient. And I think once you eliminate those little nagging pain points, just like she was saying about the inventory system, like once you start with like eliminating the stuff that you hate doing, I think you're way more efficient, and you probably will stick with eBay or, whatever platform you're selling on.
If you don't have a printer like at your house, like I wouldn't even try. I know that sounds bad, but like I had a few $100s to get started when I was like, okay, I'm starting this business. We didn't even have a home printer. I was one of those people where like if you had to print something, you'd like call someone and ask. Like I tell my sister, will you print this like Groupon out for me, because like I didn't have a printer at my house. So that was one of my first purchases in like establishing my little business, was like I bought a printer. And it was like $200 or something. I bought a Brother printer. I don't have like a label printer, but I print on labels. But like you have to have a printer. You need a printer.
It makes your life so much. When I get like joy seeing labels print from that thing now, because I had an experience without a printer. And I get like a lot of joy just seeing it pop out, and like I just slap it on, you're good to go.
I can't even imagine like taking my items to the post office and like doing the postage there. I can't even imagine.
So real quick, in chats, guys, I'm really curious to see how long you guys have been selling on eBay. Do you mind putting 1, 2, 3, 4 years if you've been selling on eBay? I'm curious to see if we've got any veterans in the house. So if you've been selling on eBay for 1 year, put 1, 2 years, and let's see how long you guys been selling on eBay. I'm really curious. All right, so let's get into this haul. This is the haul. This is the best part of the video, because you guys get to see what we thrift. So Rad, go ahead and show us some cool items.
Okay, so I just got this the other day. I was thrifting and I picked this up, and I haven't listed it yet, but I was like so happy when I found it. It's Eileen Fisher. I don't know if you can see. I can't see myself. But it's Eileen Fisher pink trench coat. It is like so nice. And I actually paid $8 for it, so that's a lot for me. But I was just like, okay, I have to take this home with me. Eileen Fisher is, I've heard not every single item of Eileen Fisher is great, but I looked these up, and don't you hate when the comps are like all over the place? There were pink Eileen Fisher trench coats sold anywhere between like $30 to $100. So I really don't know what it's worth, but definitely I thought it was a good pickup. And I just grabbed this the other day.
Do you I know this is a little off topic, but do you ever go thrifting and you're like, oh my gosh, I love that, and then you just fall in love with it and you don't want to sell it?
Oh yeah, like all the time, all the time.
Did you
Like every time I go, I end up keeping something.
did you see my ramen noodles hoodie yet?
I saw the thumbnail. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I was like, all right, I got to see what this is about. But I just saw the thumbnail. That's all.
It is amazing. Like I've never ever been attached to something like that ramen noodle hoodie just because it's like way out there, you know?
That's awesome.
All right, let's see some more. I'm curious. You got a
Okay.
pink trench coat. What's next?
Okay, so I picked these up the same day, and I just thought I'd show you this because this is like one of those like staple pieces. These are Danskos shoes. So like it's almost always a good idea to grab the Danskos if you see them. These ones are kind of weird because they look like dress shoes. They usually just look like these like clogs almost, but leather Danskos are usually worn by like healthcare workers. And I know that because like all my coworkers wear them, but I just wear like Chucks and Vans. But these you usually can't go wrong with picking up Dansko. So when I saw these and they weren't, I mean, I can't remember exactly, but I think I paid like $5 for these. So we'll see. I don't know very much about these. Like, see how they look like dress shoes?
Yep.
Which was odd. I haven't gotten any like this before, but yeah, right.
Oh yeah, I had to sneeze. Oh my gosh, this thing is amazing. This cold, guys. All right, so what else we got?
Okay. I'm just showing you like this is all from like a little trip I did the other day. These are Sam Edelman leather like chunky sandals. And Sam Edelman is so like not everything I pick up will go on Poshmark, but this is an item that I would cross post to Poshmark. And a lot of times they have those parties where you can only share certain brands. Well, like Sam Edelman's one of the regular ones. So, you know, if you list these on Posh, you can share them to the parties. So that was my thought process when buying these.
I'm loving the parties too. Like, I feel like it's like I'm having a party sharing my stuff, and hopefully it sells.
But it stinks when a party starts, you get the notification and you realize nothing in your closet can be shared to that party. So once you get like those brands in your mind where you've seen those party notifications over and over again, then when you're at the store, you're like, you want to fill your closet with things that can be shared to parties all the time. So Sam Edelman's always one I do well with.
Yeah, I got a party notice and it was like Lululemon and who was it? There's like 3 others, and I was like, oh man, I have none of those. So it was, and now I'm doing a lot of women's clothes now, so I'm cross posting. I find it really easy to cross post from eBay to Poshmark now, and so I'm doing a lot of women's on Poshmark because I feel like women sells really good on there. Although I have been getting some luck with like vintage men's stuff too, though. You know,
really, I haven't sold any men's stuff on Poshmark. But the ABC of reselling said with Dansko's check for dry rot and cracking in the soles, which is true. You need to like bend them. And I did sell like a while ago. I sold a pair where the person sent me a message and said like, I loved them, but the second time I wore them, they like broke in half and like sent me a picture. I was like, oh my gosh, well, I'm just going to give you a full refund. But like, these are a weird style. Like there's no bend whatsoever. They're pretty like thick. So just for the ABC of reselling, it won't bend at all.
by the way, that's an awesome name, ABC Reselling. I like it. All right,
I
well,
thought I had the last thing I was going to show you.
let's do it.
I thought this was super interesting. I bought these a few weeks ago, these shirts. There's 3. I bought them a few weeks ago, and I didn't list them until yesterday. Yesterday, I sat down and listed them, and within like 2 hours, someone sent me an offer to buy all 3. And I paid about $1.15 each for these shirts, and I sold all 3 for $80.
Can you show us the tag?
So this is Jamie Saddock, which I didn't know what it was, but it looked so weird that I had to check while I was at the store. And it turns out it's a women's golfing shirt brand that has these weird abstract patterns. And like, it's just, you can't even like see completely because there's these weird patterns, but then there's like little like bling and stuff. And this one isn't pattern crazy, but it's like this weird texture kind of. But it's Jamie Saddock, which I didn't know, but I looked it up and thought like, okay, these look like they're selling anywhere from like $25 to $35. So I ended up selling all three for 75. And he asked if I could combine the shipping, so I charged him $5 to ship all of them. I'll just put them in a padded flat rate, but I ended up getting $80 for all three of these Jamie Saddock golf shirts that I paid like $1 each.
Those
and
actually,
they sat for like 2 or 3 weeks while I was busy. And when I finally listed them yesterday, it was like cha-ching instantly. So I'm like,
look
okay,
like high
Jamie
quality.
Saddock, I gotta remember that.
Yeah, they look like really high quality. I like it. So real quick, while I've got you, I'm sure you've heard about all the changes that eBay is doing. Primarily if you want to keep your top rated plus, you have to have free ship or free returns. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. My return rate is about 2.26 last time I checked, percent. So it's not that high. I don't get returns. Like I don't have returns like every week. Maybe I have a couple a month, and it's, usually clothes because I mostly sell clothes. So, I mean, I've heard some good points from people, and I know I still have time to think about it because that's not till like next quarter or something, right? I'm not sure when it like goes into.
I think it goes into effect. Gosh, when does it go into effect? I think next month, right? Or is it?
Yeah, something like, I know it's not yet, so I kind of put off like deciding. But I've heard some good points where it's like, okay, when it does go into effect, this percentage of people are not going to do it.
Yep.
And so there'll be that many less top rated seller listings with that little emblem on it, which means the people that do keep it are just that much higher in like search rankings and, whatever. So it's saying like, okay, you pay out whatever it is, anywhere from like with my return rate, you're going to pay anywhere from $10 to $20 a month paying for these returns. But how much, being one of the last men standing with the top rated seller on your listings, how much is that going to boost your sales? It's hard to tell. Yeah, so I haven't decided yet.
I think the best way to approach that is just like list more. I actually already went free returns 2 weeks ago, just because I want to test it out before like it's mandatory. I think it's good to try it out. And if you're on the fence and you know that you possibly may do it, like I think now is the best time to try it. Like bulk list or bulk edit all your listings to free shipping, and then try it out and see if it's something like doing now before it's mandatory. Mandatory to have the top rated plus.
Right. And I always thought too, like, it probably wouldn't do any harm, and it wouldn't be too bad as long as every once in a while, every once in a blue moon, I'll sell a big heavy item. And it's like, just don't do it on that. Anything that you're shipping that is just going to be like priority by weight and it's super heavy, just don't do it on that. Do it on everything, all your first class clothing items.
Mm-hmm. I think that's huge. Yep. And when change happens, like more doors open. And quite honestly, like at first I was like, gosh, what? But really, like the time it takes to like spend not liking an idea, you could be spending like ways to make it better, or like different, doors may open and you can, some people will fall off and some people will stay. So, less competition in that regard. But yeah, I think you're right. Hit it on the head there. So it's this time, guys. So we have a few more seconds, a few more minutes. Put in chat if you have any questions for this amazing reseller. I'm going to put her YouTube channel in the description there, or in the chat. And I want everybody to give a big shout out to Resellers, because I think she did amazing on this live show. What do you guys think? Put it in chat. Give her some love, because she was nervous and she knocked out of the park. And if she can do it, anybody can. So
thank you.
do you guys have any questions for her? For example, how is she able to be so fashionable with those amazing colors in her hair? She's always wearing really cool clothes. I saw this. I laughed so hard. What was it? When you guys dressed up as, was it skeletons or something for
for Halloween? Not everyone knew what we did for Halloween. There's like this Saturday Night Live skit where Tom Hanks is David Pumpkins. And when I watched that, I was like obsessed with it. I wanted everyone to watch it, and not everyone thought it was as funny as I thought it was. But Tom Hanks is wearing like a jack-o'-lantern suit and dancing and saying his name's David Pumpkins, and he's got two like dancing skeletons with him. So Alex was David Pumpkins and I was a dancing skeleton. Yeah, that was really fun.
And we have a question actually. What did you end up doing with that Kate Spade purse?
Oh gosh, I just donated that back to Goodwill. I probably shouldn't have done that. I got this Kate Spade purse, and I was talking about how I really didn't know a lot about purses and I wanted to get my feet wet. And then someone was like, look at that purse again. It says Cade Spade instead of Kate Spade. And I was like, oh my God. Like, yeah, I think I just donated it.
you end up
said Cade Spade.
Do you have that's hilarious. Do you have a death pile?
No, I don't do death piles. No.
So you just you list it or you redonate it?
Okay, my death pile, if you want to see like behind me, see my inventory's back there and there's a clothing rack. That clothing rack is my death pile. So whatever is hanging on that rack at any point in time, and sometimes it's about to fall over, and sometimes it's kind of empty like it is now. That's the stuff that needs to be, basically nothing's been done to it. It needs to be measured, needs to be photographed, all of that. But I usually, if there's a lot hanging on that rack, I do not go sourcing. I know a lot of people really have crazy death piles, but I don't. I try to clear everything out, and every once in a while I have nothing. I'm like, I have to go sourcing today because there's nothing to list. So
we have so Rad Seller, awesome interview. Thank you so much for your videos. And it sounds like, Margaret, you have a full-time job. And the funny thing is I really think that you can make eBay a full-time job. I think if Rad Seller was making a ton of money, even though she loves probably her job now, she maybe would do it full time. What do you think? If you made, let's say you made as much as you make at your current job, would you consider retailing full time?
I don't know. People ask me like, do you want to go full time or whatever? And I really love my job a lot. And it's not a job you can, I guess you could, but it's a hard job to leave and never go back to. There's like continuing education and keeping licenses current and all that stuff. And it's also like a job at a hospital where like, if you haven't done it in years and you go interview and try to get a job as an x-ray tech, they won't want you. You have to stay active in it. So I would hate to leave it and never be able to go back. I love it. I love doing x-ray. You should hear, I can talk about x-rays just the way I can talk about eBay. And I actually have, my dad has been an x-ray tech for like 30 years. And he runs the x-ray program that I went to. He runs it at the college. And he says, I'm literally the only person in the entire world who I have like a full-size portrait tattoo of Wilhelm Conrad Rankin, the father of x-ray. And my dad is like, you're the only stupid person in the world that would do that. But I love x-ray. I love eBay too. I don't see why I can't do both.
That's why I wanted to ask. I love different people's perspective. If you love your job and you love doing eBay, you can do both. I think that's cool. That's really awesome. And I honestly, well, you're the only x-ray technician I know. But I'm presuming that a lot of them don't necessarily like doing it. They just do it for the benefits and the money, but you're passionate about it. You can tell. That's really cool.
It's just like any career. There are people that are super passionate about it, and there are people that are just getting the paycheck or once upon a time, 30 years ago, they were, but maybe not so much now. But yeah, I really like it. But I've only been an X-ray tech for about 3 years, so I'm still really new in the field, and you know, just trying to make my way up. So.
Tommy, you're always in chat, buddy. I appreciate the shout outs, and highly recommend, again, you guys go check out. Now, real quick before we end this, what is in store for YouTube for you, Rad Seller? What kind of stuff are you going to be doing in the future on your YouTube channel?
I hope to do more live shows, and that's why I reached out to you. I was like, you make me feel comfortable, so I was like, let me do a live with Wade. But I really want to do more live stuff, and it's so hard. I love the highly edited videos, but they take so much time that I don't want to be like pigeonholed into doing that. Where if I feel like doing a 10-minute video that's really rough and it's just me giving you info and that's it, like I want to do those too. So I just want to do it, like all of it, and I really want to just put out more content than I have been.
I think people love you because you have a really infectious personality.
Thank you.
And it's people love to, like, you know, I stalk Gina's Instagram all the time, guys, and it's just funny to like kind of peer a little bit into her life and how she sells online, and it's fun to, you know, I feel like I know a little bit about like her lifestyle and her kids because I always see them in her Instagram, and just the overall, like, you have an awesome personality, and I think that's why you do so well on YouTube, and people love you. So
Thank you.
I want to say, guys, crush the like button. It doesn't pay me anything, but it lets the video be seen by more people so more people can discover her. I'll put her YouTube channel and Instagram below. I'll also shout her out again on Instagram, letting people know the video is live and up. And that way, you guys, if you guys want to follow her on Instagram, it's really important to me and to other people that you probably want to follow as many resellers as possible, because you may be in her area and there's a big sale like JCPenney's, like there was this weekend, or, you know, stores that she thrifts at that you guys want to take advantage. And that's why I try to add as many resellers as possible, because I want to know when these, you know, amazing clearance stores are going, doing these amazing deals. I want to know that. So, and there's only been so many different, so, like, for example, the Nordstrom Rack one, if I was not on Instagram, I would not known that thing was going on. So highly recommend you follow Rad Seller, and hopefully we can do some more collaborations in the future. So.
Oh, sorry, I'm trying to like type in the chat.
No, you're good. Jen is in chat, and we spoke a little bit, and she, like, and I know I'm going a little bit of a rant here, but like when I do these interviews, Gina, Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, obviously today we're doing an interview later today with somebody that's a little bit less famous than you, but
I'm not famous at all.
You are amazing. But I guess my rant here is the fact that, you know, you can meet amazing, cool people online, and Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays we do that. We get interviews on my channel and we interview them, and it's really cool to see like the trend, you know, like people that were nervous or were thinking about starting YouTube up that went live for the first time and they're on my channel, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks later they've already got 2, 3, 4 videos up on YouTube. They're joining in and they're trying to create their own brands, and I think that's cool. Like, for example, Flipping Daily said that he received 16 messages after our show through his Instagram, and I love getting that stuff because it's just super cool to help people, you know, and I'm not a big channel, but it's really cool to help people, like, and I think that you would do amazing interviewing and having live people on your show too. And so I appreciate everybody that's joined. And do you have any parting words of wisdom, Rad Seller?
No, I don't. You put me on the spot. No, being a part of the community and like getting on here and talking with you, it's great because I can only do so much talking, like when it's just me in the video. Actually having a back and forth with someone lets people get to know you a little bit better. And anyone who wants to start a channel, like, I'm super supportive. Once I do get into like doing live and being comfortable, like, I want to be just like you. Like, you don't have to be Insta famous or YouTube famous, like, to talk with me. Like, anybody's welcome. And just like for everyone selling on eBay and just getting started and everything, like, it's so fun and it's so worth it. So, like, just keep learning, keep watching these videos. I don't know if we taught anyone anything today, but hopefully we did.
I don't know if we did either, but it was really cool back and forth. And I appreciate everybody that's joining. We're going to sign off. I'm going to make this live. And those of you who don't know, I am still doing a live show today at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. We have an amazing guest who's not YouTube or Insta famous yet, and he does storage units and some other stuff. So really cool time today. I'm doing 2 live shows in one day, which I've never done that before. So hopefully you guys can join, and I appreciate everybody who joined this one. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for joining.